Okay, if this doesn't make your mouth water, I'm sorry, you are most likely dead inside. Hola, and welcome to my cucina. Yes, today we're making something very different. I do reside in New Mexico, and one of the most spectacular dishes here in New Mexico, and one of my very favorites, is Carne Adovada. And it's a spin-off of the Mexican dish Carne Adovada. It's a beautiful earthy dish that's simmering in red chili peppers. It is absolutely delicious. You guys are gonna really love this one, and if you want to do something special for a party, this is it. Let's get started. So our ingredients today for our Carne Adovada starts with pork butt. This is a boneless pork butt that we're going to cube, and I like to use pork butt or shoulder. A lot of people use pork loin, but I don't particularly care for it for the lack of flavor, and it's somewhat dry. And also we have 2 teaspoons of seasoned salt, 5 teaspoons of Italian seasoning, 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, and then 2 teaspoons of sugar, also 2 teaspoons of ground pimento, the juice of a couple of limes, and this is what makes it so special. It's the red chili by Bueno, and it's the hot version, and basically it's red raw ground chili made into a paste. Have a look in there. And you should find it in your freezer section in your grocery store. A lot of stores around the country I've found it. And then also, this is 14 cloves of garlic. Yep, I did say 14 cloves of garlic. And then we have 1 large onion that's really quite finely chopped. Alright, that's our ingredients for today. And let's get started. So the first thing we need to do is we need to cube our meat, and as I said before, this is a boneless pork butt, or you can use shoulder, and basically we can remove like the heaviest fat parts of the meat. You don't have to remove it all. A good majority of this is going to render down, and it will add some flavor to the pot. So basically you want to cut to 1 to 2 inch cubes. About this size right here, and it will break down as it cooks. Some of it will flake off, so they will become slightly smaller, but 1 to 2 inches is perfect for this dish. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the rest of the meat. Okay, so here is our chopped pork, and we're going to give a light seasoning with garlic powder and seasoned salt, my typical seasonings for meats. And then typically, a lot of people will take this raw meat and actually put it in a Ziploc bag and then go ahead and add the chili paste to it and let it sit in the fridge overnight. And I prefer to brown my meat because I think it adds an extra depth of flavor that putting it in the bag doesn't really get you. I think the same process of cooking it on the stove in the chili infuses more than enough chili flavor into the meat. So at this point I'm going to go ahead and brown my meat, and then I'm going to add my chili and my seasonings. I will let it cook for several hours in the oven, and then I'm going to let it cool, and then tomorrow I will take it out the fridge, reheat it, and then cook again for maybe an hour or 2 in the oven. That way I've had it sitting overnight, everything's infused, and then I go ahead and warm and recook. And this is the best way of doing it as far as I'm concerned, because it cuts the cooking process on the second day to a very short span of time. And if you're using this for a dinner party or another function of some sort, this is the best way of actually doing it. So let's get started and brown our meat. Just like my other meats, my cooking process is to brown it. So I'm going to go ahead and brown this off. There's about 2 tablespoons of oil in this pan. Don't want to put too much meat in one time because you don't want to end up sweating the meat in the pan. And I'm a firm believer ground meat tastes better than any other meat. For the simple reason you built flavors into it. Okay, let's go ahead and brown this meat off, and then we're going to add our chili sauce. Okay, our pork is browned and we have our chili sauce in. Now we're going to add our other ingredients. Here's our 14 cloves of garlic and our large onion, and this is one of the very few times I actually use onion with pork, because I don't usually cook onions with pork. Alright, here's our onions. Here goes in our Italian seasoning. And traditionally you would use oregano, but there's a ton of that in the Italian seasoning as well. And that was our seasoned salt. Now we're going to add some sugar to help cut the bitterness of the red chili, and then add some depth of flavor with allspice or ground pimento, and then a couple of tablespoons of our apple cider vinegar, and a couple of limes squeezed straight into the pot. And the lime just adds a nice freshness to the very rich earthy flavors of the chili. And I said before, we are going to let this cook on the stove for about 15 to 20 minutes to get everything up to temperature, and then I'm going to put it in the oven for a couple of hours. I will let it cool, put it in the refrigerator, and then again cook in the oven for a couple of hours tomorrow. Alright, we'll be back shortly. Okay, our Carne Adovada is ready to go in the oven. It's up to full temperature, and we're going to put it in the oven now at 300 degrees. Okay, I'm going to put it in the oven. And a couple of hours, take it out, let it chill. Okay, so this was refrigerated overnight, and as you can see, it's pretty thick and solid. Alright, we're going to go ahead and put this in the oven at 300 degrees for about another hour and a half to 2 hours. Okay, it's in the oven. Make sure the lid's on properly. And we have about an hour and a half or so. It's 2 hours at 350. Alright, we are at the 2 hour mark, and it has turned into a rich, lovely, robust, oh, just smell. I mean, it's very tender too. Okay, I can't wait to start dipping into that one. Okay, it's time to go ahead and plate. So today we made Carne Adovada, and it's served on a white flour tortilla topped with a lime cilantro crema. Isn't that absolutely delicious? This is a great idea for a party, or you want to do something exciting for your family that they've never had before. Trust me, you're gonna love it. Well, thanks for joining me again. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and don't forget, if you don't subscribe, chances are the device you're watching this on will most likely explode in about 3 seconds. Go ahead and hit it. Hit it now. Thanks so much for watching. God bless. That's our man for Feed Man Belly.